Thanks so much for joining us. Today, we're introducing you to Amy Robbins. She's a business owner of Alexo Athletica, former NRA host, frequent Fox News contributor, and now probably one of the best new titles is new mother.
Yes, it still hasn't sunk in yet that gets to be added to my bio, and
Yep.
I'm loving it. Probably one of my most favorite titles that I've had yet. So thank you so much for letting me come on your show today, Sarah.
Oh, I'm so excited you're here. And speaking of that new title, I can, only imagine how excited, you and your family must be. Tell us a little bit about what it was like becoming a new mother in this quarantine situation.
You know what? Obviously, we're not living in normal times, and my heart goes out to every single new mother that is going through this at this point, because there's been a lot of challenges. Things have gone not according to plan, and I think that was probably the biggest wake-up call for all of us. So my little man decided to come 3 weeks early.
Wow.
And he decided to come the day of the lockdown. So that was a little scary on some levels, because obviously what you're hearing in the news about the hospitals, we were worried about, is there going to be enough rooms for, are we going to be able to have the baby at the hospital?
Right.
What's that going to look like?
To a home birth.
Oh, we looked into that.
Yeah.
we actually did look into that. And I'm glad that we didn't have to go that direction, because I did end up having an emergency C-section. So I was glad that the hospital was there and available. But some of the things that were different were, we keep hearing a lot about this PPE, personal protection equipment is very, very scarce. And that was the case at our hospital. So our nurses would come in and they would be like, I'm really sorry, I can't wear gloves right now because I can only use them if I'm dealing with body fluids and things like that nature. And I'm like, okay, did you wash your hands? And they did. This is a very sterile, great environment there. Another thing was,
weird concept.
Who would have thought that they wouldn't be able to wear that? And they did, and they were scarce on masks as well, which we've been hearing a lot about too. So, that was a little different. And then who could come up to the hospital? My husband was the only person that was allowed up into the hospital. And we know we are not the only ones that are going through this. We've heard a lot about people that are losing loved ones during this time and not getting to say goodbye. People aren't getting to say hello to the new babies that are born. I mean, it was pretty scarce. So from that standpoint, it's been very weird. My family still hasn't met our son, officially. We're really taking this quarantine thing serious, which I think we would have been doing anyways, even without the coronavirus, because babies' immune systems they don't have one. But it's been weird. My family, my mom is begging me, can I just come look through the window and take a picture of him and just see him through the window? She lives 2 streets away from me. So you can imagine it's killing these family members to not get to come and meet their loved ones. So, but we're hanging in there. I'm so happy to have my husband. He's been the biggest help in the entire world during this time. And, on one hand, it's kind of nice that we're forced to figure this new parent thing out on our own.
Yeah.
We don't have any help.
Right. Well, and my mom gave me some advice for whenever my husband and I have our first kid. She's like, you know what? Take a week to figure it out, because everyone will come and it'll be really nice to have everyone help you. But at the end of the day, it's you and him, taking care of the baby. So, so you guys are already winning.
We got a crash. We just got a crash course in parenting 101. And we're looking at it as a blessing in disguise. We've had so many friends and family members step up and help in ways that they wouldn't have been able to, before all of this. People are jumping on board and doing meal trains because they don't want us getting out and having to go to the grocery store and, potentially risk bringing something back into the house. So gosh, you're just really seeing a good side of people. I think not just for us. I mean, we're seeing this across the country with people opening up their what they have to give to other people and really make the best of the situation.
Yeah, I love that. Sounds like you have some great friends, great family all around you.
Very
and a great
blessed.
Husband. And speaking of your husband, you guys are both working Alexo Athletica, I imagine, around the clock. Small business owner, you've grown tremendously. It's been so cool to kind of watch just as you explode, essentially.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about what it's been like to have a business in this situation.
Sure. And I would love to be able to hop on and say that we escaped some of the pains and the challenges that maybe other small business weren't able to, but we didn't. We got hit just like everybody else did. We were very blessed to have 2 years of our startup business just grow exponentially. And then since January, we do a lot of our manufacturing overseas. And so one of the challenges that we've had is production and manufacturing. So while we are very thankful that we're an online business, and obviously we've been able to continue working, there's been no hiccups or interruptions as far as daily business goes, but our production line got shut down since January. So we're sold out in nearly every size and every style, with the exception of one new product that got here right before everything shut down.
Wow.
And so, when you're a small business, you're relying on sales, monthly sales, to keep you going, to keep your cash flow going, to be able to put on into new inventory for the future.
Yep.
So it's really, this is really affecting, obviously, you can look at the numbers of what's going on right now with small businesses across the country, with the unemployment rate rising to 22 million people right now having to file for unemployment. And it's just really sad that this is taking such a toll on what is the backbone of our economy with small businesses. So I know that we'll bounce back. We just need our production to ramp back up. But obviously we want people to be safe when they're going back into the manufacturing plants and everything. But we know that we'll bounce back, and we've had some really loyal supporters during this time, people telling us that they'll pre-order. If we can just get the new products out to them and show them what's coming, they'll put the pre-orders in to help us with our sales. Great. So, we know that we'll come back from this, and what a good time to be making activewear that allows women to defend and protect themselves, because we are seeing this crazy rise of people carrying protective tools, but then gun ownership as well. And so it's been one of those things. We have a very niche product that just so happened to fill a void right now during this time, as you're starting to see. I think the last statistic I read was 40% of the guns that were purchased over the last few weeks have been new gun owners. And so, of course, they're going to have to get trained and get their license to carry to be able to hold them in our clothes. But people are starting to think more about their personal safety during this time.
Well, and you're kind of leading perfectly into my next note. I do want to say a side note. I bought your pants, and my goodness, they stuck everything in the right places. There's 80 million pockets. I just can't carry enough. It's amazing.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
I do need to tout them.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate it. Like I said, it tucks everything in just the right place. So I love it.
Well, I've been glad that I can finally fit back into them. I was up to, we go up to double XL, and I was hitting those double XLs the last month of pregnancy. And then I'm like, I am so ready to actually be able to wear these again. And
wear
it
my
helps.
pants again.
They suck you all back in after postpartum. So
well, and normally. So I love them. And, well, so it's safe to say you're a gun girl, and you actually have a podcast show called Not Your Average Gun Girl, which is awesome. And my husband's owned guns all his life. He grew up with them, grew up hunting in Pennsylvania, and been taught safety from a very, very young age, which of course then he taught me. And as we've become gun owners, we know that safety is such an important part of owning a gun. And just like you said, I've had friends call and say, what gun should we get? Or, I really want to go out and buy a gun. I'm just really nervous with, so many people getting laid off a lot of times follows looting, follows robberies. And people are nervous, but in the forefront, that safety factor has to be there as well. So I wanted to kind of get your perspective on that.
For sure. So I'm having the same issue. I'm getting multiple text messages and phone calls from a lot of my friends who before this time really never gave much thought to owning a firearm. Maybe they live in a really safe neighborhood and they just haven't thought a lot about it. But times like this, when you've got one part of the society that is worried about civil unrest, and then you've got another part of the society that is worried about the government getting too big and too strong and, infringing on their rights. So they want to go out and stockpile as much as they can. And take advantage of our constitutional rights, right. So you've got people going out and buying firearms for different reasons. But my answer never changes when I get a text message from somebody that says, this is my first gun to purchase. They always start with, well, what gun should I buy? And what I always tell them is, I love to have people go to a range where they have certified firearm instructors that can help them learn the basic safety rules of the firearm before they ever purchase a gun. Because the last thing you want to do is go out and buy a gun, not know how to use it. And then you find yourself in a situation where you could cause more harm than you do good. So I recommend get to a place. I love Texas Gun Experience because they have a store in a gun, or they have a gun range inside of a store. So you not only get to test several different models and see which ones feel good in your hand, which ones are easy to operate for you, because it's very personal. Firearms are very, they're designed very differently. All the models are very different. So you want to find one that you're comfortable with, that is easy to operate, easy to load a magazine, easy to put a load in the chamber. You want to see, do you want a revolver? Do you want a semi-automatic? What do you want? But they have instructors there that do it in a very, very safe way so that you can get comfortable with your firearm. They teach you about proper storage and safety of the gun as well. So you can walk out of there. If you live in Texas, you can walk out with your firearm if you pass your background check. And you can take your gun home. And so that is always what I recommend to people, is to maybe purchase it from a place that you can either shoot it right then, or if you aren't buying it at a place like Texas Gun Experience, you're going to a range right afterwards and getting good instruction from a certified firearm instructor. And that's really kind of the best way that they'll answer all of your questions too, and even point you in the right direction if you're looking for a way to store it at home, especially if you have young children. I mean, we're all staying home during this time. We need to be storing our firearms in a safe manner, or taking this chance and this opportunity to teach your kids about gun safety. But you got to know gun safety first. So go and learn those basic safety rules from someone that can train you, and then you can pass it along to your children as well.
That's great advice. I really love that. Well, Amy, is there anything else that you really want to leave people with? Any advice? I mean, that was phenomenal advice for future gun owners, and I'm going to make sure I send this out too, because my answer is, we have XYZ guns, but I don't know what the answer is for you, and so that was some great advice to give people. But do you have any advice for moms, business owners, future gun buyers? Just anything you really want people to take away?
Right now, the biggest thing that I want to leave, especially new moms and working moms, is just to keep the faith. We're going to get through this. We are going to come out of this stronger and better together. If there's anything that you can do right now to help any of those people that have lost their jobs, do it. Give back as much as you can, but don't lose heart. Don't give in to the fear that so many people are giving into. We want to just continue to work hard and keep the faith, and know that we will come out of this on the other side a lot stronger. And so that's kind of my advice, and what we're sticking to here. We're doing a lot of praying around our house, and just trying to work the plan that we set up a couple of years ago before we started the company anyways, and just not give in to that fear.
That's great. I love that. Well, Amy, if people want to find out more about you, they want to follow along with your show, what's the best way to do that?
Absolutely. So we're really active on Instagram and Facebook. So you can follow my company at Alexo Athletica. I've got a personal Instagram page at the Amy Robbins. And then our Not Your Average Gun Girl podcast can be found on Google Play, on on the podcast on your iPhone. You can listen to it any of those places and subscribe and just find out what we're up to. We are in a little bit of a hiatus right now as we're restructuring some things at the show, but we've got hundreds of episodes that you can go back and find some really good, valuable information from some of the top instructors in the industry, from we've got secrets, like the special force guys from all different military branches that give us some really cool, good tips. And then you'll also find some of the top fashion bloggers out there. So you're going to find all this advice from fashion to fitness, faith, family, and firearms, and everything else in between on our podcast.
You can be any kind of person and own a gun.
That is true. There is no average gun owner.
No, well, I'll never forget my husband. The first gun we purchased was a pink one for me. I mean, little did I know it had too much kick, so we ended up getting a different one for normal use. But you know what? You can make anything fashionable, and any kind of person can own it. So you guys preach that.
I have actually matched my firearm with my outfit before. It has been an accessory. I have a rose gold Sig Sauer, and I had my rose gold accessories on, and now while I'm not going around showing my firearm, I know that it matched what I had on, and it just made me feel better. And rose gold is
so in.
It is. Of course it is. Yes, I love it.
I love it. Amy, thank you so much. I always love when you come on. It always, it's just the happy breath of fresh air, and I always enjoy talking to you. So thank you for coming on.
Well, thank you, Sarah. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram. While I might not be on there all the time as much as I was before, I will get back to you and help answer any of your questions that you have about any of this stuff. So I'd be happy to help.
Awesome. Amy, thanks. All right. Well, and thanks everyone so much for joining us. Stay tuned. We got some more episodes coming.